Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Green. We're doing another Bible study, Matthew chapter 28. If you'd like me to come speak at your church, or if you have any questions, you can send me an email or you can just comment below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell. That way you get updated whenever I post a new video. Like the video and also comment. Even if you say hi, thumbs up, smiley face, thank you, whatever. It helps with the algorithm. Here we go. At the end of Matthew 27, it ended and it said, Pilate said unto them, You have a watch, go your way, make it as sure as you can. So they went, and they made the sepulchre sure, sealing the stone and set in a watch. And I said before, when they sealed the stone, they would take this nail and put it in the wall, and then they put molten metal around it to keep it secure so you couldn't remove it. And of course, they set a watch, so they had people, soldiers in the front, watching it because they didn't want anything to happen to them. Matthew 28. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven, and came and rolled back the stone from the door, and sat upon it. So there was a watch, so there was people that were supposed to be guarding this sepulchre. Apparently they didn't do a very good job. And they secured it, so they used this molten metal to keep it so that it couldn't be removed. And so now there's an angel sitting there on top of the rock. It's moved out the way. What happened? It says his countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and become as dead men. So it says here that the keepers, the people that are supposed to be watching, they were so afraid of this man, they basically just like passed out and laid there. If you look at Psalms 51, it says, Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. So this guy must have been pretty pure. He's probably an angel, obviously. Matthew 28:5. And the angel answered and said unto the women, Fear not, or fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Jesus which was crucified. Now it's important. It says to the women there, obviously mentioned two of them. He's not here, for he has risen, as he said. Come and see the place where the Lord lay. The angel saying, Come in the sepulchre, look at where he laid. He's not there anymore. And go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead. And behold, he goeth before you to Galilee. There ye shall see him. Lo, I have told you. It's really important that I want to bring this up. Women at this time really weren't seen as, I guess, big figures. Uh, Women were basically like helpers. They were kind of like property. They really weren't like anything important. So to have women see Jesus first shows the importance of these women. And they departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy, and did run to bring his disciples word. Now you have to imagine that Jesus is risen, so they're going to be kind of scared. Oh my goodness, this guy is, it's a whole scary situation, but yet they have great joy because he is the Messiah. What he said was true. And they went to tell his disciples, Behold, Jesus met them, saying, All hail. And they came and held him by the feet and worshipped him. Then Jesus said unto them, Be not afraid. Go and tell my brethren that you go to Galilee, and they see me. And when they were going, behold, some of the watch came to the city, and showed the chief priests all the things that were done. And when they were assembled with the elders, they had to take counsel. They gave them a large money unto the soldiers. So the guys that were supposed to keep watch over the sepulcher to make sure Jesus didn't escape, they were like, "What are we going to do? We're in trouble." So they ran to the chief priests and they told them everything that happened. And it says the elders gave them a great deal of money. And they said, Ye, his disciples came by night and stole him away while we slept. And if they come to the governor's ears, we will persuade him and secure you. These elders are like, Listen, say the disciples came and stole him. That's what happened while you were sleeping. See, it's not your fault, it's their fault. And then when the governor hears it, we're going to go ahead and have your guys' back. So they took the money and they did as they were taught. And this saying is commonly reported among the Jews until this day, and it's still talked about today. Then the 11 disciples went away to Galilee, unto a mountain where Jesus appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Jesus came and spoke unto them, saying, All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Go ye therefore, and teach all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all the things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the world. Amen. He's saying, go out there and teach people first. Get them saved. After you get them saved, you baptize them. It's important. They got to be saved before they're baptized. Teach them to observe all these things that I've commanded you. Teach them all about me. Tell them about how I came and I served and I was a servant and I loved the people and I died for them. Now, a lot of people say there's contradictions. And basically, we're going to talk about this first one here. It says, how many women went to the tomb? Well, Matthew said Mary Magdalene and the other Mary. It mentions basically two people. Mark says Mary Magdalene, Mary mother of Jesus, and Salome. So it mentions three people. Luke says Mary Magdalene, Joanna, and Mary the mother of James. Mentions three people. And John only mentions one person, Mary Magdalene. Well, it's actually kind of interesting when you actually look at this. They're all, different things here. There's people think there's all kind of contradictions, but there's not. 1 Timothy 1 says, as I besought thee to abide still at Ephesus, and when I went to Baconia, thou mightest charge some that would teach other doctrine. Never give heed to fables or endless genealogies, which minister questions rather than godly edifying, which is in faith do so. So when you see stuff like that, don't really worry about it, because the Bible actually answers itself. You see, Matthew says at the end of the Sabbath, it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. Mark says when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of Jesus, and Salome had brought sweet spices so they might come and anoint him. Luke says it was Mary Magdalene and Joanna, the mother of Mary and James and the other women. And John says just Mary Magdalene went there. Well, this is actually a bit funny, actually. It says a bit assuming that Bob thinks that just because John said that Mary Magdalene came to the tomb, he's implying that the others weren't present. And all we really need to do is keep reading to see that isn't the case. See, in the next verse, John says, so she went running to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said unto them, they've taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they put him. So, obviously, in John, even though it just says Mary, it says we know, so there's multiple women. Now, hold a second. Where did this we come from? And passing Mary Magdalene's own words clearly show that there were other women. And John's reporting this implies that he's well aware that there's other women at the tomb, no bludgeoning required. Over here it says in other accounts, they assume that each gospel account is supposed to give a complete detailed list of women. Luke explicitly says that there were others that he didn't name, and in no gospel did it say these are the only women that came and nobody else. There's no contradiction here unless you bring that assumption to the text. Selecting to name some woman is not an automatic denial that there were no others. If I say I went to the store with my wife last night, I'm not automatically excluding the fact that I brought my 4 kids with me. Just left out a detail. So what? Another question people ask is, was Jesus crucified on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday? So the Catholics are going to celebrate Good Friday because they say that's when Jesus was crucified. Because if you go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's 3 days. But the Bible doesn't actually teach that. They say have a blessed Good Friday. This is God's demonstrated his love for us, that while we're yet sinners, Christ dies for us. And that's why Good Friday is referred to as good, because he died for us. But the Catholics are kind of missing some important details here. You see, if you look at Matthew 12, and it says, he answered and said unto them, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and no such sign shall be given by it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Now, if you look at the scriptures, it says that he was raised before the first day of the week. So he was raised before Sunday. So in order to have proper 3 full days and 3 full nights, he couldn't have been born on a Friday. Jonah 1 says, now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Not 3 days or 3 nights. 3 days and 3 nights. 3 complete days, 3 complete nights. Remember the Passover Sabbath. It says the Feast of Unleavened Bread was also known as the Feast of the Passover, which was celebrated in remembrance of the Israelites being delivered from the Egyptian bondage. This feast was set on Nisan 15, and that could fall on any day of the week. This feast is a high Sabbath day, or a day of rest. It's also called the high day, and it was preceded by a day of preparation. If you look at John 19:31, it says, "Therefore, because it was a preparation day, that the body should not remain on the cross on the Sabbath, for the Sabbath was a high day, the Jews asked Pilate that their legs might be broken, they might be taken away." See, John 19:31 says that Jesus was crucified on the preparation day before the high day, the Sabbath for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And this is the date of Jesus' crucifixion on Nisan 14. See, Easter falls on the first Sunday following the Paschal full moon, or the full moon, or after the 21st, taken in the Virtual Orthodox. See, Easter falls whenever it wants to, but the biblical account is specific. See, Jews counted 12 hours in a day, because Jesus said, "Are there not 12 hours in the day?" on John 11:19. The Hebrew calendar begins at sundown, not at midnight. Night first, and then day. Jesus was crucified on a Wednesday about 3 p.m., and he was placed in the tomb just before 6 p.m. Look kind of like this. Jesus died Wednesday 3 p.m., placed in the tomb at 6 p.m. Wednesday 6 p.m. till Thursday 6 a.m. will be night 1. And then Thursday 6 a.m. to Thursday 6 p.m. would be day 1. And then Thursday 6 p.m. to Friday 6 a.m. is night 2. You have Friday 6 a.m. till Friday 6 p.m. day 2. And then, of course, Friday 6 p.m. until Saturday 6 a.m. is night 3. And then Saturday 6 a.m. until Saturday 6 p.m. is day 3. And he was resurrected before Sunday. So before Sunday morning, he was resurrected. That shows you 3 days and 3 nights. There you go. So Jesus was basically, he crucified on a Wednesday around 3 p.m., placed in the tomb at 6 p.m. because he had to be there before the day of preparation. So day of preparation would have been Thursday. Now Thursday they couldn't have went out and got the spices, so they went and got the spices on Friday, making sure they had all those spices before the true Sabbath, which was the Saturday. And then they returned Sunday morning to deliver the spices. Remember Matthew 28, this is the beginning of the Sabbath. It began to dawn towards the first day of the week, which would be Sunday. And came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. It says that there was a great earthquake, and an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone, not to let him out, but to let them see that he was gone from the door, and he sat upon it. So that's what happened. He died on a Wednesday. Thursday was the day of the Sabbath. So they had to have him in the grave before 6 p.m. on Thursday, or 6 a.m. on Thursday. And so then Thursday they had to stay home, and that's why they didn't go out and get the spices on Thursday. Friday they were out to go and get those spices. And then, of course, Saturday was the day of Sabbath, so they couldn't go on Saturday. So they came before it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, so they were there before Sunday. And that's basically what happened. Well, guys, that's the video. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, like the video, and also comment. I'm going to put a couple links on the screen. The bottom right is going to be the Matthew Bible study. Top left is going to be the Luke Bible study. And the bottom left is going to be a video YouTube thinks you're going to like. If you know somebody that might benefit from the study, please share that with them. And you can also share it on social media. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have yourself a great day.